So welcome back. And this morning we're going to start working on getting this pump ready to go back on the car. Now in the previous videos you saw me cut the gaskets from this Fel Pro gasket material here. So we'll go ahead and get that out of the way. And what we got to do this morning is get everything cleaned up. Now as you can see, those old gaskets sealed real well and were easy to get off. But in true Fel Pro blue fashion, it's sealed the back well, but it's stuck to the plate. So we got to get this cleaned up. And for that, we're going to go back to my favorite little scraper once again and see if we can't just get it all to slide right off, which it probably will. The trick here being not to gouge this billet plate. Because what you don't want is a water leak. And it's coming right off. If I had a little sharper razor blade on here, it'd probably go a little quicker. But I'm a little low on razor blades, so I'm trying to make them last as long as I can. Let's see. There we go. Okay, I caught the edge of the tool and not the edge of the blade. That's a good thing. Now this plate's been on 2 or 3 motors, so that means it's getting ready to go on its 3rd or 4th one, so there's some little irregularities in this back side here. And a little Scotch-Brite will clean it right up. Of course, I'm making the table shake. Alright. Let me jump up here out of the way for a minute so I can get this side right quick. There we go. Alright. So there's that side. Now we got to do this side. Now this side's got a little grease and such on it, just from where it sits in the car. It tends to pick up anything wet that comes through the front. And if you spend any time in a drag strip, or any racetrack for that matter, you'll know that your car picks up stuff from everybody else's car that went before you, behind you, whatever, plus your own. So and then this is a little spilled over aviation sealer. Get them gaskets out of the way. Now the reason these bolts look funny is I got a real good coating of luber plate on them. Keeps them from freezing inside the long parts of a typical Ford timing cover. But I just always load them up good, just from experience. I do the same thing on any motor on the water pump bolts, because there's always that outside chance little water can get in there, and water and steel and aluminum equals frozen bolts. And anybody that's ever had to deal with that will tell you that it's not fun, and I'm sure we'll encounter them at some point here on the channel. And when we do, I'll show you how I deal with them. I'm sure everybody's got their own way of doing it. And I'm also sure that they're all very valid ways of doing it. Alright, now this thing does not have a perfectly smooth machine surface on it. It's got a little texture to it. And that's what's leaving this little bit of stuff in here that you can see. Now, go ahead and clean up the cardboard here a little bit. That's why I always keep a piece of cardboard on top of my bench. It catches all the dirt and grease and junk that falls off of things. So I had to make the gaskets earlier. And I just want to stick them up here. There we go. And they're going to work out just fine. Here they are lined up on the holes. And I'm sure I'm moving them around a little too much because I'm holding the pump and holding the gaskets. But just put a good coat and aviation sealer on them. Permatex, whichever you want to call it. Slide the bolts in. Put the timing cover water pump gasket from the timing cover kit behind this. Put on the engine. Get these ready. And just stick the whole thing together. And the 3 little bolts at the top will hold it to the motor and keep your gasket lined up. And just slide the electric water pump on. Take your Allen head socket and run the bolts up. Torque everything. And it's ready to go. And I just got to rewire it. And then we'll start getting the rocker arms on. Getting the valves set. And making some pretty good progress on the 408. So let's carry this all out to the car and see if we can't get a water pump put on today. Well, welcome back. So we got it all cleaned up this morning. This took me a lot longer to get out here than I hoped it would. But now I got to clean the timing cover and get this all slicked up. And then we can proceed from there and go ahead and get the water pump put back on. And I probably should have waited to put the radiator in until after I had done this, but I didn't. Trying not to make too much noise. I'm out here at night, don't want to disturb anybody. We're dealing with a little bit of corrosion and a little bit of rust and some various other things. And, ooh. Well, we almost got it. It's cleaning right up, actually. That's a good thing. I was kind of worried that it might not, but it is. Now we give everything a good squirt. With the brake clean. So we can wipe it all off and see exactly where we're at. Alrighty. Now we give it a good wiping with the rag. Make sure we got all the loose stuff out. Okay, so we're back. So I had to run and get the gasket set. They were working under less than ideal lighting here, but that's okay. Alright, so when you open up these timing cover sets, you'll find that there's a bunch of different gaskets. And what you got to do is kind of look at the timing cover you got and look at the gaskets. And this one looks like I got this one here. So let's see. This is the one we want right here. Alright, what I usually do is I take and put a little coat in a aviation sealer right where the gaskets are going to go. Now the big blue gasket needs to seal, but it's there more as a spacer, except for right here at the water ports. So I make sure I got the plate lined up with the motor, which I do. Then I make sure that I got the gasket lined up with the plate. Then you take your little bottle of aviation sealer. You don't want to get too messy with this. And go ahead and paint right around the water openings. And like I said, it don't take a lot. Now, you can put your little bolts in the top and they'll keep your gasket centered up. This will keep everything centered up. Now on the good side, it's a little cool out here tonight. I'll go ahead and run this in. Oh boy. And of course we got a bad bolt hole over here. I'm going to have to thread chase that one. So what I'll do is go ahead and put the pump on and then come back and take care of that one. Now I'll reach up here and get my already lubricated bolts. Is it a long one to hold, actually hold the water pump on. Alright, get my aviation sealer out again. And I'll go down here and paint a little ring around each of these. And I should have done this while the engine was sitting on the ground. But it's easier to put this engine in when the water pump's not on it. Now I've already got the plate covered. Now I'll paint the water pump itself around the holes. And it don't take a lot of this because it squishes. Kind of smooths itself out, self-seeking level and all that. Trick to it's keeping it warm on these cool nights. Alright, now got to push them back a little bit to get enough room to get them in here. Those two are in, those two are in. Now, they'll kind of hang on themselves a little bit. Now, I need to take that little problem child one back out and take a look at it. Looking at it, it looks like it's just dirty. Binding up pretty good in places. So we'll go ahead and pull it back out. Yeah, it's trying to round over the threads. Okay. That means there's something in there. So there's either a piece of old bolt or somebody's pulled it too tight at some point and it's left some stuff in there. Alright, I can get it in a good 3 threads, 4 threads. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm just going to stack some washers up and put on it. It's not ideal, but this is a temporary engine, so I really don't have a problem doing it on this one. The main thing here is to get this one running so I can run points this year. Okay, so I'm sure some of you are wondering why I'm not going to go get a tap and tap this out. Instead, I'm going with the stack of washers. Well, the reason I'm doing that, sometimes when you tap these old original timing covers, they'll crack. And if they crack, they're like a piece of glass. It will eventually run, and then you got an oil leak. So what I'm going to do is try to do it on 2 washers. The ARP washer and then this slightly larger one. And like I said, you know, this is a temporary setup that we're putting in here. And I got to get a piece of inner tube and make me some new insulators for this radiator. This is a temporary setup that we've got going here. So what I'm hoping is, and yep, it's going to work. Alright, and now that we got the top covered, and this has been sitting for a minute, always go back and check these because they will loosen up as the gaskets squish. crush, seat, whatever you want to call it. And the best time to do it is while that sealer is still soft. There we go. Now, I did forget to drill and tap the bypass hose nipple on this water outlet. I'm going to have to take care of that. But other than that, and hooking up radiator hoses and putting water in it, water pump's ready. I just got to plug it all back together. I'll just pull this up here for right now. So now we're ready to move on to the next step of this thing. And that's going to be putting our rocker arms in, most likely. Hey everybody, I hope everyone's enjoying the videos, and as I've said in the past, always be honing your skills, practicing your craft, and getting better with each progressive project. This is just another example of things you can do after you've had a little experience and got a few tools in your hands. Don't be afraid to try and think outside of the box. There's nothing to stop you except you. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying the videos. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you on the next episode. Everybody have a great day.